So, so our project is to develop a software development that tracks person's daily activity and their calorie balance. So this week we do not do any software development jobs. We just focus on finding a method and solutions to some key point that we need to solve. So our project need to solve two main issues. The first is calorie consumption and the second one is calorie intake. So now we try to find some equations, some ways, and some models to solve the key issue in these two factors. So first, we focus on calorie consumption, and we mainly focus on two activities that person do every day. First is their daily commuting. They need to walk or ride a bike from their home to the campus or their workplace. So we can use GPS to track daily commuting route and use this data to calculate the calorie consumption on this activity. And second, we focus on exercise in the gym. And at this time, we've bought a heart rate sensor to track heart rate and oxygen level. So using these data, we can calculate the calorie consumption, and the equation above is some equation that we might use to calculate the calorie consumption. And we've already bought a heart rate sensor. This heart rate sensor can record the data and form a CSV. So after the data is generated, we can send it to the server and load it to the data set for further analysis and calculation. And the second part is calorie intake, and we want to mainly focus on the food that the person take every day. And we want the user to upload the photo of the food that they eat every day, and we can calculate based on this photo. So there are two problems and questions we need to solve. The first is recognize which food the user take. So we need a food recognition model, and we find some ways to do this. And after discussion, we know that the best way to do this is RNN training model, because RNN is just for image identifier. So we use RNN, and because this issue is not the key in this class, so we just choose a pre-trained model and the full data sets to get the model as easy as possible. And after we set up this training model, we can just recognize which food the user is taking. And the second question is calculate the size of food. After we get which food it is, we need to get the size of food to calculate the sum of the calorie intake. So we need to require that the user need to provide the size of the plate or some standard size for us to calculate the food size. So we just choose the size of plate. The user needs to let us know the size of plate, so we can calculate the size of food by the ratio. So we need to identify which part is a food and which part is plate, and we can use some image processing model like this, and to identify the plate and the food, and we estimate the size and the standard size the user take, and then we can get the ratio between the standard size of plate and the photo, and the size in the photo. So after that, we can get the ratio of this photo, and we can then calculate the size of a food. And after these two issues is solved, we can just get the get the calorie the food contains. And then these two parts, after we finish these two parts, we can just get a calorie intake and consumption, and we can just display the map, a graph for daily activity and the calorie balance. And that's our this week's job. And next week we will focus on how to develop these training models, and we need to focus on the IoT, such as the GPS sensor and the heart rate sensor.
So for our final project idea, which is like create a system that we use phone sensors and heart rate monitors to track our well-being by intake and control. And also we will like maintain the balance from lifestyle for users and give some recommendations based on the activity level and the calorie needs. So we have an oximeter sensor. As you see, this is our final project actual sensor. It can measure in pulse rate. A pulse oximeter can provide information about how your heart working, and during your exercise can change in heart rate, can reflect your heart response to exercise, and help you monitor and adjust your training plan based on your heart rate. So let's get started. We just put in on the figure when your activity. So it will show the like heart rate, oxygen level. It's about like take 2 minutes. Yeah, it's for sure right here. And they're gonna change and average like in total. So I'm just like quick overview with that. So we still have like this data on our phone. I just put like 2 minutes or 4 minutes actually. My average is like normal because I didn't work out and do some exercise. So this is not cost your calories during that time. So we can see details. These are our new features as the future, and we can put this data to our cloud. That be useful for the project.